Road, where the Roman Empire Tree business used to be on the corner around the bend. I don't know if you know where that is.
Which business?
Roman Empire Tree.
Oh, okay.
Okay. On that corner, it's 26 acres. So my wife and I, we've been working, cleaning up. We're from Florida. We've been cleaning up the property and getting things ready. We have an idea. We would like to build some cabins on the front half of the property. My wife wants to do some really nice ones and make a really nice theme design and all this type of stuff. So nothing huge. I was coming to him to ask basically what's the steps to maybe build 4, 5, 6 cabins on it, if that's possible, what my limits are, square footage requirements, that type of stuff. Just so we could get a game plan going and maybe some drawings together and that type of thing. But that's the idea on that property. We're just looking to kind of turn it into something. So.
And this is where at?
If you basically go down Seaman Road, past the Dublin store, and you go down, you know where the laundromat is down there?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right before the laundromat on the left-hand side.
So across the street from Joe.
Yes, there's a Roman Empire Tree. He has a sign out there.
Mhm.
It's that property. It's 26 acres.
What's the address?
4611 Seaman Road.
Again, you don't have anything in front of you this evening. Long story short, hotels, motels, and other lodging places are permitted uses subject to site plan review. So you would have to come to me, have a pre-application conference, get everything together before it would be placed on your agenda.
Okay.
Yep.
And you want 5 or 6, you said?
That's what we're thinking, yeah.
And Roman Empire's still in business there, right?
He's moving. He's leaving.
He's moving.
So we bought the property. He's going to be there for another 2 months. I had 2 or 3 months, I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure. But he's going to be moving off.
And your name again?
James.
James?
Yes.
And are they gonna be like back behind the trees, or are they gonna be right out there?
No,
we don't do anything.
Let's not
Yeah.
turn public comment into a site plan review. This is just to say hello.
Yeah.
I'm gonna maybe come see you later and,
Nice to meet you.
Nice
but
to meet
we'll
you.
make sure you have all that information if you
Okay.
decide to
Yes, for
proceed.
sure.
But you're welcome to stay and enjoy the show or
Okay.
take off. But I just
Enjoy
wanted
the
you
show.
to come in and say hello.
I'm sure we're working together. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it'll be a couple months and you'll be up in the area,
Okay.
right?
Yes, I'm hoping. He said the next meeting is in 2 months. I definitely have it ready. I was hoping sooner, but
Because you're not
Yeah, we'll
scheduled
go
to meet
through.
in July,
Right.
are you?
No, we're not.
Yeah, so you'll
Yeah.
be meeting in August.
August.
okay.
And,
So
and
we'll
that works
definitely
out
have
for
it
perfect timing for a project like this
Yes.
to make sure we get everything that you
I've got
want to
surveys
do.
and everything happening in about 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
it's just starting.
Okay.
No, there is, our property is inside. There's gonna be a nice woods buffer. You're not gonna see it from the road at all. So,
Where are you moving here from?
Florida,
Florida.
yes.
Ooh,
Welcome to the woods.
Yes, it's my
Welcome to
wife
winter.
lives here, so, yeah,
Well, I've heard a lot of
Thank
people there that Michigan is the new Florida.
yeah.
Michigan's the new Florida.
Florida's become the new
Yeah.
New York.
Right.
and we're-
Yeah, I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I
Thanks
was
for
reading
stopping
that the
in.
other
Thank
day.
you, thank you guys.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, a motion to approve the minutes from May 16th. I'll make that motion. I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. All right, Township Board Representative is not here.
Casey. You gonna wait on that?
We had nothing for the zoning board of appeals this month, so I have nothing to report there. And Bob, you're up next.
Well,
Zoning
we're
administrator.
trying to keep the zoning board of appeals as inactive as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as far as zoning goes, not a lot of land use permit activity this last month, a couple inquiries, about land division application for a large parcel, 80-acre parcel, which you don't see too many of in Norman Township. It's in the southwest quarter of the township down off Peters Farm Road. There's still a couple large acres down there that they're splitting up, and it looks like they intend to just turn them into, I call them the 5-acre estate lots or building lots, whatever you want to call it. Not the entire 80, but just chopping off like I think 20 acres or so to divide up. Other than that, Ben and I have been trying to hone in on this master plan, and I'm not going to still any Jill's thunder because she has some ideas coming under new business too. And I'll just lead right into my master plan, kind of with my report there. Put together an actual chapter, the demographics chapter. It's not 100% complete, but it's got the graphics, the data you see is actual 2020 U.S. Census data, right from the latest census. The more we started looking into that, and I've been familiar with the U.S. Census for all the years I've been doing this, but I've never really gone in to look at the data, and oh my gosh, they have, oh my gosh, how many 3-year-olds with dark moles on their left cheek and a dimple on their nose, in a household? And so we're just trying to extract some of the more relevant stuff that people seem to talk about all the time, How many people are there? How many houses do we have? How many are single family? How many are not? How many are non-owner occupied? What's the population? How much money do we make? What type of workforce do we have? And again, we kind of got the intro paragraphs down there, but we haven't completed the summary yet. We need to update the population chart. The chart you see in that's just a copy and paste right out of our existing master plan. And I'm like, well, how many years do we want to go back? Maybe we want to trim that and bring it up to the 60s or 70s and then start extending it out.
Right,
a
I
little
don't think we
bit
need to
there.
go back to 1940.
Yeah. I mean, but there is a noticeable trend. I mean, while we're looking at it, from
Right.
2000 to 2010, the big population jump, or was it 1990 to 2000? It was 2000, 2010, I think, was the big jump. But we want to note things like that. And again, we want to finish up the summary. Again, when people are looking at this, you shouldn't be reading a murder mystery or a romance novel. I know when I interviewed for this job, it's been 13 years ago now, I said, give me the Reader's Digest version. Throw your thesis statement out
Right,
there,
exactly.
catch my
Absolutely,
attention.
yeah.
Tell me what it's about and then get to the point. And that's what we want to do with this. And I was just talking to Jill before the meeting about some ideas about in that summary, just because, it would do no good to try to copy paste every single bit of data out of the U.S. Census. But let's say if the master plan doesn't contain enough information for us to make a decision on, we can go right back into the U.S. Census and extrapolate that data. There's nothing that keeps us from doing that. And I think as long as we note it in the master plan, because inevitably somebody will say, well, your master plan doesn't talk about this. Yes, we knew we couldn't include everything, but we wanted you to know down here in paragraph C that if we don't have the demographic information we need, we'll go to the U.S. Census data and get it. And again, Ben and I have chatted back and forth across this. That's kind of I want to call that the final draft. We want to put some more identifying text in under a couple of the charts. We want to beef up the summary just a little bit, but that's the type of information we're looking at through the entire document.
And these numbers you said are what they are? We can
Yes,
use these
yes,
in our
those are right
master
out of the
plan.
2020 census.
Does that include what type of work we do?
Yes,
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
certainly is.
Wow.
But that hopefully gives you an idea, and we started thinking, what does it matter if it's 30 pages or 130 pages, as long as it's something that we use, we read, and somebody else can pick it up and look at it.
Right.
And I kind of made that point, and I think one of the introductory paragraphs been there, let's tell people that we want to be able to use this information, not just us, but people in the future, and somehow blend it into an idea to where the next planning commission after you kind of has some kind of clue when, maybe not in every chapter, but somehow we're going to say in there, we want you to have an idea of what we were thinking and how we planned on using this information. So it'll help them. So we've kind of started our official library
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
of getting this started, and I know I went right into our new business master plan style visual. We want to, and none of this is hard firm graphics. We chose We just wanted simple graphics. We know that somewhere in the master plan, we're going to include actual images of property or
Right.
buildings or businesses in Norman Township, but we just, you know.
Not just the dry language that
Yeah.
is in the current.
Yeah, we're talking about housing, so let's put a house. We're talking about people, let's put some people in the gym.
Right.
You know, so.
So when it talks about where we work, we're not talking about working here in Norman Township, it's wherever you work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's where the or the type of industry.
Okay.
We have thought about, the current master plan actually breaks it down and talks about businesses right here in Norman Township and how many people that they had back in 2010.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about maybe going to some of those top 4 businesses and seeing how many they have, and, you know, going to Dublin, going to the medical center, going to Mark Fisher, you know, going to the restaurant and just kind of seeing
Yeah,
there.
the people work here in Norman
Yeah.
Township.
Well, and I think, then adding what
Yeah.
we've added, like with the Forest Service,
Yeah,
I think that's a big plus.
yeah,
That they're back, they're in the building and,
Big time.
you know, and because the Forest Service really represents what we are.
oh, sure, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're about being in the woods
Absolutely.
and enjoying, and so somebody that wants to come up and have a mall,
Yeah,
you probably don't wanna move here,
Right.
because that isn't the direction we're
well,
going.
those are the things that as we get into the master plan, we'll be talking about land use and infrastructure, that we'll talk about what we're capable of handling.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, and I'm jumping ahead here when you get into the zoning ordinance, but one of the things they talk about in zoning is, you know, you just can't exclude uses, and typically zoning ordinances don't. But also zoning ordinances don't list every possible use on this planet, you
Yeah.
know? Nobody thought 20 years ago there was a thing such as data processing, you know? So what is that all about?
Master plan.
But one of the more popular things for rural communities is many rural communities don't have the infrastructure to support an industrial park. However, it's okay to say, hey, we have Kelowna, we have Manistee, we have Cadillac, and it's okay to say we recognize that we don't have the infrastructure and it's okay to direct those high-intensity uses. Or we don't have the traffic that would support, you know, another dollar store, or maybe we do, I don't know, but. I'm sorry, I start talking about this, I
that's
get pretty
okay, get
excited
excited.
about it. Yeah.
Did you look at the Calva one?
I did not yet, I didn't have a chance.
I
to
think,
look at
where did you send it? Oh, I think I dropped it off last Tuesday, so if I sent it to you Tuesday, cause I got permission to pass it. We had critiqued it through the county plan.
Okay.
Planning commission, we did look at it, we gave our feedback, and so there is 2 pages or 3 pages of feedback of what they needed to change, or they have a choice to do
Like
that.
Calva's
You don't have
master
to.
plan, is that what you're talking about?
Calva's master plan
You sent it
is,
to the email?
finishing up,
You
and it's
sent-
got a lot of the, I didn't send it to everybody, but I will, if
Oh,
that's okay.
please.
I'll just
Yeah.
send it to everybody,
Yeah.
and then that gives you a chance,
I was thinking of
and they did a lot with pictures and a lot, the way that we wanna go.
I was thinking we should do like,
And we can still
several
bring some of their traffic.
townships and get an idea of their master, because I was reading through this and there is so much in this.
Oh, yeah.
And it just,
Yeah.
it boggles my brain and there's
Right.
no way I can ever comprehend all
And
that.
it's, and you can look them all up online. I mean, the Manistee County has a list of all of the,
They have,
don't they have a
But wouldn't
list
it
of
be
all
better
the
if we
master
get
plans?
hard copies or printouts of some of
Pardon?
these? Wouldn't it be better if we get hard copies
Oh,
or
yeah.
printouts?
But you
So I
can,
can actually
Yeah,
sit
that
down
way we have
with
them
it.
right in front of us
Yeah, the
and
computer ain't always the best.
can
thing
refer
for
back
me.
and forth.
Yeah,
well, I will send you it,
please, yes.
we didn't print them out there, I think it's 80
If you wanna pick them up here, if you just shoot me an email and say, hey,
Okay.
Bob, could you print me off a copy of
That'd be great.
Kelvin's draft master plan,
Yeah.
or you're searching around
So
online and
we
you
can
see
kind of
something.
get an
there.
idea of what we need. to
That's
start.
exactly what this is
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't let them give you an idea of what you need. You
Right.
But
But we can get an idea of how to go about
I look
starting.
more on style and presentation and what you
Yeah.
actually get out of it.
Yeah.
Do you understand what you read? And you're right, you look at some of that. and
This
it's
is, wow.
and did
Wow.
anyone get a
Over-
chance to
the
look
same
at the
thing a
Norwood
lot,
one?
over and over. and
To look at
over
what,
and over,
honey?
and it just rolls.
The
the
Norwood
day.
master plan? Remember the last
have
week
not.
I mentioned, or last month I mentioned this one?
Yep.
I did not, but I'm going to. My husband got really sick and ended up in the hospital, so
I did not know.
I did not, but I will.
What is it? Pass it around.
I liked that too, it was,
No,
The nice thing is what we're seeing, a
It's
nice
very much-
trend of everybody is getting away from
The
these
history
ones
books?
that nobody wants to read.
yeah.
And they're all moving towards, and they're really doing a good job of selling their communities, and so we're starting to see that
this is
flow
all I got.
of getting some really nice,
Yeah.
you know, it's like being proud of your community
Mhm.
and showing off with that.
A document that
This
you
is-
actually use
this
and
is
not
all-
set
Yeah.
on the shelf.
This is
You know,
it.
that's the
Yes.
whole point of it. you know.
Yep,
I like that.
I like it a lot, and it's along the lines of what, you know,
Wow.
Bob and Ben
Yeah.
were trying to.
I like that, I like the way they laid theirs out.
mhm,
I like the pictures.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, seriously,
No,
I mean,
it's very good.
I mean, those of us that are gonna come up behind us,
Did you print this online?
when they see the pictures, that's what's gonna get their attention, and they're gonna be like, oh, what's this place?
yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to sit down with this for a while.
Is it possible to have everybody get a copy of that?
Mhm.
Yes, please. Oh, wow, look at,
Yeah. So this is Norwood Township in Charlevoix County.
housing, here's the graphs. This is what we should have.
That's in Charlevoix.
A little book.
Yes,
This is what we should have, a little book.
right.
Simple,
And in
elegant.
case everyone's not aware, I know Jill is, I know Mary is, you all have mailboxes out here in the office.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yep, and of course, if you see somebody in the office, you're welcome to come in and check it. Otherwise, I'm typically here on Tuesdays from 9 to 4, Ben's in 9 to 3, so if you're available to stop by and just check it. Like I say, I'll print off hard copies of the Norwood Township, Charlevoix County Master Plan,
I don't need one.
and I'll just, Jill doesn't need one, and I'll just put them in your boxes out there, so you
Okay.
can stop in at your convenience, grab it,
Okay.
and go.
Absolutely.
I come through on Tuesdays and Thursdays and have dinner over there.
Either Tuesday, Friday, or if you see somebody parked right out in front, if they're not on the library Wi-Fi, it's probably, Joanne, the clerk, or Merrill, the treasurer, somebody in here.
Which, that was the other thing on my
This
list
is
today.
cool.
When I was in town, I was supposed to pull my packet. We get our packets online for the county planning, and I was gonna stop and get my hard copy.
So I thought that would give us a really good idea of how to,
I know they word this. The
Yeah.
citizen survey
Condense some
reflects
of
a
the
desire to
information
have
that's
no
required.
further industry development in the township to the road. The master plan limits industry use to presently zone mining and industrial resource property.
Current master plan, and our draft is, we don't want it to sound, I guess, opinionated or unsubstantiated, and it's just what you read. A citizen survey
Yeah.
revealed that, or we had a public outreach session and the consensus was. It's not
Yeah.
like it was your idea, it
Let's
came
do that.
from another source, and it was nobody trying to guide anyone in a
Yeah.
particular direction.
This is really cool. Yeah,
Cause you know, like those murder mysteries, the author, he'll take you right where he wants you to go.
check that out.
Yeah, I think they'll like Calava too. And they,
Yeah.
and the nice thing is with Calava's, a lot of the stats that are in there, Northwest, they paid Northwest to do it. So, those are the same stats we would use because they're for the county.
Yeah.
So some of those stats, we don't have to go and reinvent the wheel to find them because they
Right.
put them in there,
Right.
so.
This is gonna simplify it. It's
Yeah.
much better for us.
Can I take up just 2 more minutes of the planning commission
Absolutely.
time? I'm sorry, it's
no, go right
it's
ahead.
kind of unrelated, but because Ben and I both work right next door in Wexford County and do 10 out of the 16 townships over there, we sent a letter of intent into MDARD, Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, to get a grant. And they have actually invited us to submit a full application over there.
Right.
And we're just like checking all the boxes. We need help on planning, zoning, getting creative, housing. And I was just saying that if I run into any of that information over there, I will share it over here, because some of the things we're talking about there, not just right around Cadillac and Cherry Grove and Summit Township, and you got like up there in Buckley, you've got Kitchigumi, but even the rural areas that have established subdivisions, they're recognizing that there's a housing issue, but nobody's come up with the solidified answer of how to solve it. I'm talking to developers over there just saying, we can't afford to do single-family homes. We can't afford to do duplexes, threeplexes. We can maybe do a 4 or 6-plex, but you have to relax either your density requirements or your square footage.
Yeah.
I can't build a 800 square foot home or 720 square foot home for less than $200, $250 a square foot. Now we're talking a developer, not somebody, that's recently retired from GM with $2 million in the bank that's going to come in and pay somebody to do it. Or even, and it's just funny, I've said this before, my wife and I first moved to Cadillac 8, 9 years ago, we couldn't find a house to rent. 2 adults, 2 kids. We finally found a mobile home in one of the manufactured home parks over there, Country Acres, that we were in for almost 2 years before we could find a house to lease.
Wow.
And if you look at the median income, and I found that in the statistics too, the median income for Norman Township, I think is pretty high, but the margin of error is like plus or minus $10,000, where the median income for Manistee County, the margin of error is like plus or minus $2,000. I'm like, what's up with that?
Right.
But I'm still thinking, take an average, I'm old fashioned, I'm thinking, when I got out of the service and I could live on my own, and just, a couple with 1 child. Young couple that, I don't know what they're making, maybe if both of them are working full time, maybe they are making $60,000 or $70,000. I don't know, but, does that mean that you can go out and afford, $1,500 a month rent before you start talking about utilities and groceries and car payments and childcare, and it's just mind-boggling.
It is, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, and they were just saying that what people are paying for rent takes away from them
It's
being able to
ridiculous.
put money away to
Yeah.
buy something.
My daughter and my son-in-law live in a 2-bedroom mobile home, and they pay over $800 a month to live there. It's ridiculous.
Is that in a mobile home park, or that probably doesn't include the lot rent? Doesn't include?
No, it
the-
is,
Oh.
it's because they don't own it,
Yeah,
it's on Rosemary,
yeah,
and
but it's.
those prices are just.
But anyhow, it's
ridiculous.
just housing in general and the affordability of the housing. And the fact that anyone that's read that zoning reform toolkit, even planners are going, yeah, we're doing this all wrong. Maybe we do need to think different. It doesn't mean you need to open the door to no zoning, but get creative.
Well, any information or whatever
This
you
is
get
awesome.
from that, we'd appreciate
Yeah.
it.
That is calling, I want a copy of it.
Well, it's an in-kind match where all we need is 20%, so we're asking for $25,000 grant, then we'll match 5,000, so. The worst they can do is say no.
Right.
You don't get anything if you don't ask,
No,
so.
that's true,
Yeah.
that's true. Okay.
Sorry once again for taking up your time.
No problem at all. All right, what I was going to talk about was maybe having a workshop. I know we don't have a formal meeting in July. Would anybody be interested, if anybody's gonna be around? And it doesn't have to be at 5 or 6 at night, doesn't have to be a Tuesday, but maybe a workshop where we could, get together and, go through
Yeah,
a section or 2 of the master plan
together.
instead of breaking up into committees and then trying to do that. What if we, set up a time to meet and, go through a couple sections and get that done? Does that sound?
Well, if you want Rob to be a part of that too.
You could do this a couple different ways.
Yeah.
If less than a quorum of you meet, which means 2 of you, there's no posting or anything like that. And again, your information would just be advisory. If 3 of you meet, you can still do it, but we would need to make sure we get it posted on the bulletin board or the front door out here at least 18 hours in advance. We would post it as a special meeting of committee of the whole, or whatever you wanna call it, of the planning commission, whereby a quorum may be present, the meeting's open to the public, but you make no decisions, you just deliberate and come up with ideas to present to the entire planning commission.
And that's what I had in mind,
Yeah.
not to.
Yeah.
Even at the workshop, not to make
Yeah.
any formal
Yeah.
decision, but it would
Just
still
to
be a.
spend time reading and looking at.
It's kinda like when Jill and Mary did the bylaws. They met less than a quorum, they didn't make any decisions, they just put it together and said, here you go, planning commission, what do you think?
Would you rather do that than break it up? And,
No, I think we can do that. Yeah, let's have a workshop.
We'll do it as a workshop.
Yeah,
so all
let's
of
have a
us are
workshop.
part of it.
so then you would have to
Post
post a
it.
public notice, even if we were.
At least 18 hours in advance.
Do we have to do public notice on that?
I always say better safe than sorry. If a quorum is going to show up, we want to post it as a special meeting.
Yeah, we would have a quorum if all of
Right,
Even
and
if
hopefully
Jason-
everyone would.
Yeah.
But I'll get an answer on that, because that's always kind of testy, because let's say it's just gonna be a workshop,
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
all-
and let's say you
Maybe
can't
business.
make it, and Jill and Mary show up, well, they still wanna do some work, but technically, if it's a meeting, they
Yeah.
can't because there's less than a quorum.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll find out some additional
We
information.
just pretty much want to discuss it and talk about it.
But it could help speed up the process, and I would volunteer, and I will even tell Ben that he volunteers, if you are able to do it on a Tuesday when I'm here, or a Friday when Ben's here, we'll try to give up an hour of our time.
Okay.
If you want us
Right,
there.
right,
just-
you're always welcome.
Or to say, or maybe you're out here and you just wanna come in and ask us a question or something.
Right, like Mary.
Because after all, we're working for you, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get back to a date on that or a time and see, work that out. What I was thinking was, not necessarily going in order of the master plan, how it's currently written, but maybe, we could start with chapter 4,
That's insane.
and, which is, what's that?
It's insane.
Same.
No, it's not. Which is land use and land cover,
Land use
and
and
it's,
land
you know, it's a pretty, that one's a pretty
The
short
first two
chapter.
paragraphs like mock each other.
I know.
Land use is this, land cover is this.
I know.
Now, if you didn't get it the first time, land use is this and
Yeah.
land cover is this.
Right.
Yeah, it's
You know,
really
like-
an overkill, man. It's really like over and over and over, and I'm
So-
like, what?
So what I was looking at, when I was looking at the chapter 4, 5, and 6, there's really not any reason. It looks like a lot,
Yeah,
but there's
It
really
can be
not a
done,
reason why
yeah.
it can't be done
Yeah.
in a workshop.
It's kind of like our bylaws. We did a lot of,
Yeah.
we
Um,
repeated, don't need that, yeah.
And if we all kind of come, if we all come prepared, in other words, take a look at it, make your own notes in 4, 5, and 6, and then, when we are ready for the workshop, then we'll have some idea of what direction we're going. Sound like a plan?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, when would be a good time for everyone to meet? In July.
in July.
Like I said, it doesn't have to be in the evening, it could be during the day, and if we did it on a Tuesday or Friday, then Bob or Ben would be here.
What time you get here Tuesday? What time-
Tuesday, I'm in here usually about 8:30. Typically I work 9 to 4, but
Let's do it morning.
Morning?
Yeah.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah, I'll take the
Yeah.
day
It
off.
depends on how early, because I'm working midnights right now.
Oh, are ya?
Yeah.
It'll be hard for you.
I get back into town between, well, right around 8, so, and I'm still pretty alert at that time.
So you're talking morning.
Yeah, you go any later than that, and I'm
You're
gonna be
crashing.
sleeping.
Okay. If we can get into the third week or the fourth week, because I've got family that will be here for the first 2 weeks for a Tuesday, if we're looking at a Tuesday. I could do that third Tuesday.
The 18th,
So what would
Yeah.
normally have been our regular meeting?
But just do it in the morning at 8 AM.
I can do the
Yes.
18th.
I'm good with that.
I can do
18th?
the 18th. Yeah.
18th, 8 a.m.
Yes.
Is the office open
Does
at
that work for
8
you?
I will make a point of being here.
You want us to make it 8:30?
8 o'clock works.
8?
Yeah. I will put that in my
Okay,
calendar.
workshop.
Okay, who's
Tuesday.
bringing donuts, who's bringing coffee?
You are.
I can actually stop at West Call and grab some donuts if you wanna grab coffee.
Yeah, I'll bring coffee.
Sounds great.
Mhm.
It's better than I even thought. Yeah. Okay, Tuesday, the 18th at 8
So,
AM.
are we just doing chapters 4, or we're gonna do 4, 5, and 6?
Let's try and see how far we can go with 4, 5, and 6.
All right.
Okay. Like I said, it looks like a lot, but once you really get into the text, there's a lot of areas that are saying either the same thing or they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
How long are we thinking this is gonna last? Couple hours?
Couple hours,
2 hours tops, I would say.
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours,
8 to
Less
10?
than that.
Right.
8 to 10?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Beautiful.
And I will check with the board about approval for,
Use of though.
no, when Mary and I worked on the bylaws, I had approval for payment for
Oh.
those meetings,
Oh.
so, so I will check.
I'll mention that to the powers that be too.
Oh, thank you.
Even if we don't, let's just still do it. I mean,
Yeah.
So Matt, are you available that Tuesday
Yes,
morning?
yeah,
Here, too?
I'll take time to do it, I'll make sure I take some
Okay.
time.
And the
off.
seniors
I just
do
have to
come
take mine
in
off.
to the building, they do their exercise on
We do it in
Tuesday
the
mornings,
afternoon.
don't
We
they?
can meet in the office
So we
if
can
we
meet in
have
the office,
to.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll work the afternoon and just
Yeah.
take the morning off so I can do this, so that'd be cool. I'm sharper in the morning.
That works good.
I'm pretty tired right now, I worked all day, I did 12 hours today, so. I get up at 4 o'clock, so.
Okay.
I'll make that a homework assignment for me and Ben too, so in case we have any notes or.
Okay.
anything.
Okay. So 4, 5, and 6. And as far as the demographics, since we know that those numbers we can plug into any area of the, master plan that calls for it, then I would say let's just do that. Just do it.
Yeah, just.
Even though
get
we're
them, put
gonna,
'em in.
right,
Yeah.
plug them in, even though we're going to change, anywhere that it calls like, community demographics, but there's another section too that has more and more.
Well, there are a couple chapters in there that have just tons of like numbers, and Ben and I are like, I think one of it, I don't know if it's the natural resources, it might even be the character, the 8 pages, and we're like, what's wrong with summarizing and squishing it down? And rather than spend a paragraph talking about these numbers, maybe before your summary paragraph, you just put some bullet point facts,
Just put them in.
Yes.
These are the facts. They're not anything that can be disputed.
Yeah,
They're just,
yeah.
these are the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Give it the Walter Cronkite version.
Yeah.
That's
Only
the way it
facts.
is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the way it is. I think Dragnet, only the facts, man, only facts.
So, on this other one that everyone's had a chance to just look at,
Mhm.
the demographics here, how that looks, that's pretty much what, near what
Yeah.
Bob
Yeah.
and Jen are working on.
That's what they just did here.
Right.
Yep.
The formatting on ours may change a little because I work with Word, Ben works with Publisher, Ben
Okay.
actually writes. So, but we already explored that in our heads and we'll make it work, Maybe this will move here, 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 something. but
Right.
We'll make it come together.
That's really nice with the computers, you can move it
Oh,
without redoing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's nice about
Well,
technology.
we want to make it, I know a lot of people that have planners that use it, they use like Adobe InDesign and stuff, and it's programs that people like us don't subscribe to, and if you ever want to go in and edit it, you're lost. So if we keep it between Publisher, Word, one or the other,
Then you're
we'll
covered.
always have an editable copy.
Right. And we can take a look at the Calibut, master plan
Well,
that you're emailing.
And that is, what you just said in terms of that editable copy, or that being able to edit it, because schools are in the process of changing their policy company. It will be the school attorneys will be doing the policies for the county schools. But what they've done is we have editable ones, so that if something changes, rather than having this big notebook that sits on a shelf,
Yeah.
that you've gotta, change pages and stuff, you can go in and just change. And that's being done by, attorneys are saying this is the way to go, so that makes so much more sense.
We're
And-
thinking about the numbering format too, chapter 1, page 1, chapter 2, page 5. So if we do find a need to make an immediate change, hopefully we're not having to reprint entire master plans. You can print pages or articles in a worst case scenario.
And this one did not have a table of contents. I want a table of contents, don't you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Already started. That was one of the first things
Okay.
Ben and I noticed too. And because that's when we weren't arguing, we were discussing. We want to make sure, because that minimum contents for a master plan should almost be like our introductory vision goal statement / table of contents.
Right.
Yes.
And then beyond, we want everybody to know where to find those minimum contents, and here's the stuff that, maybe we end up with a couple sub-chapters because we want to talk more about housing, or we want to talk more about possible future development.
But if I'm a person coming in and I could care less about the housing and I was looking at what I can do in terms of industry,
You might
I
look
wanna
for,
be able to
might
pop
look
to
for a
that page.
keyword,
Yeah,
And Ben likes, when he does his documents and we convert them to PDFs, he likes to make sure it's totally searchable too. So ours is pretty good there, just through a regular PDF. But yeah, we're trying to keep that in mind too. Table of contents.
So, you haven't worked on community character, have you?
No, other than the fact to know that it's 8 pages long, and
Right.
I was reading it today and I'm like, okay, I know Norman Township's a great place, but can we say it better, make it more fun? And
I know. Right. So, real quick right now, can we look at community character and say, what do we definitely want to cross off that we definitely don't need, except for the whole page?
Where are we at?
Something in it? Okay, so it's page 2-1,
2-1.
chapter 2.
Is it that chapter or the introductory chapter that has all the missing links, I call them? They're links to maps and appendices that are no longer
No,
linked
that's community
to
character.
and
This
stuff. Yeah, okay.
part that's washed out.
Yeah.
Also, when we go to the part with the maps, is this map that we currently have, is that gonna be changed?
It can be as part of the future land use map, yes.
The official zoning map that's in here now, that's not going to change.
Now, the official zoning map will not change,
Oh, very
but a
good.
future land use map can change.
Right, okay.
Can we make it more readable?
Yeah, I think we discussed that last
We,
time.
we might be able to break it down. We had to do that over in, Wexford County. We have 11 townships and we had this map this big for 11 townships. We actually did 1 page per township. So the least we could do is 1/2 the township on 1 page, 1/2 the township on another page, or break it down into quarter sections.
Well, I just know if you look at this, unless it's like on a big wall map,
It's very tough.
yeah, it's hard to find your bearings on it.
Well, and there's, the county can provide a better map because the mapping has all been updated.
Yeah.
So I think that they have,
Yeah, that was actually done by Rob, did that one for us.
Rob did this one,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, but I think we've, there's better than even this
Yeah.
now.
Of our township?
Yeah, because I know that that's one of the things that Mike is always talking about in terms of the mapping and doing more.
You gotta check with the county road commission because we should, of course, we're gonna have to have a section on transportation and complete streets. And I asked them if they had anything more modern, and their maps still look like they were drawn in pencils with a ruler, and that's the best they have available
Yeah.
right now, so.
wanna, the community character then?
Right.
Can we wipe off the introduction? That we don't even need to tell why it's important?
I agree with that.
Because to me, that's, you know, it's
It's just-
part in it because it is important, not that we have to tell people that.
Right. So we can cross off,
It's just introduction of itself,
Yeah.
pretty much.
we can cross off introduction.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
And then we start right on who.
We're just
Norman
gonna shout
Township is.
something out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Look at how we took out all those words.
Maybe it's a picture of a fish with a crossbow shooting a deer.
There you go. It's for the brush.
The first paragraph is okay,
Mm-hmm.
under the description. And then we would change the census to match with the
Yep.
new,
Yeah,
or the
Update.
demographics.
yeah, update that.
We're still not incorporated.
Um,
I was nodding off in some of that,
Do
trying
we really
to say,
need-
what
we need all
are
the other
you
townships?
saying? There it is.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering.
Do we really need all the other townships in here? Can you tell us what the other townships have compared to what Norman is?
Where are you?
About traffic?
Paragraph 3. The township population for the year, blank blank, has reported U.S. Census Bureau out of the 12 townships, Manistee County, Norman Township had the 4th highest population of that year after Manistee Township. It's just a lot of reading.
It is.
5 other township had Bear Lake.
If I wanna know
Township
about
had-
Bear Lake and
I'll go to that.
Fowler, I'll go
I'll
to.
go to Bear Lake.
So-
Census data shows Norman Township experienced a 7% population. I think the whole paragraph would go, so.
Want the whole paragraph to go?
What we can do is we can show that comparison
To Norman Township.
and
To
to,
surrounding.
we can do a chart that shows, okay, here's what's in Dixon, here's what's in Norman. We can do a chart. We don't have to do it as a
As a paragraph.
paragraph, right?
Write notes right on
Does
your,
it have to be in there?
your thing.
Like the other townships, do they have to be in there?
You're
No.
gonna wanna do a comparison to your borders
Okay.
of what the others look like. I mean, that's something that I've seen in all of them.
Yeah,
so-
sometimes you take into consideration, again, is it required? No, but a lot of people look at their four corners to see how they're zoned and how the neighboring community is zoned. Are we
Okay.
abutting our rural residential right up to commercial or industrial? Or are we abutting our ag rural up to their R1 or something that might be more compatible?
Okay, then I'm in agreement to get rid of the paragraph and put a graph to chart, yep.
As long as we show a comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we've got here, is where
Mhm.
that's gonna, so the census that would tell.
Change that to a graph.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, we can talk about that.
What about the next one where they talk about that it's not an incorporated, or there is no incorporated village or city within the jurisdiction?
It's just a lot.
That will probably be a single sentence or
Yes.
two, as
Yeah.
Ben and I are just doing the general introduction
Yeah, it's just a
to
lot of
Norman
reading, man.
Township. Yeah.
Yeah, and that we don't need the four corner,
you know.
No.
Right,
And 55 Seaman Road is likely the busiest
Yeah.
four corners within Norman Township.
Right, so
Although
we're-
historically a larger settlement, now due to the vicinity of the four corners, including convenience stores, and yeah, that's where I went to the bathroom last year. Okay, let's get rid of that.
yeah, definitely, although historically.
but there are no public restrooms in Norman Township
Well, we can
except the
talk
Dublin
about-
store.
We could change that to like even, you know, that's where the township center is kind of this building. I mean,
But I think definitely we can do a rewrite, and I think as we read a
The
couple of the
township,
other plans,
Mhm.
we'll have a good idea of what we wanna do with
The
that.
township
I
I
think
think
we
we wanna
better
look at a
say the
couple.
same thing.
Yeah, I think the comparison that we do with
Without
other
having Matt
plans.
sit over there and shake his head back and forth.
it's just
Oh,
a lot,
really?
it's a lot of reading, it's just a lot.
It is, and then the next one talking about which way roads go. You wanna know which way it goes, drive on it.
That's what I do. I follow the surface.
We can put in a map.
Vehicle traffic is
Put it in
very
that.
north and south of the township.
Yeah, that's
It's
just,
like you get it all in your head.
Yeah,
you're
that's
not-
just
You're not
too
gonna make any
much.
sense out of it, cause it's all,
if you made it far enough to where you're actually looking at what the master plan is, then I'm pretty sure you know which way Hoxseyville and M55 go.
And even for people that don't live here, I mean, I've seen master plans try to explain which direction each and every county primary road goes and secondary and seasonal. Why not just say, hey, we have X number of miles of county primary that's maintained and
Exactly.
secondary that's maintained. We have X miles of seasonal road, we have X number of acres of federal and or state forest land, yada, yada, yada. And if you can't figure that out with this pretty map we put in there for you.
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
that's just me, but.
Look at the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that another point, they're talking about, how there is significant federal land within Norman Township.
Mhm.
So I don't really think we need to
But
have
that would also
any
be
of
on
that.
the map.
Right, I don't think we need any of that paragraph. What about you?
I think we should just redo that.
I'm thinking a redo.
A rewrite,
Do in what
Yeah,
way
a
though?
redo.
condense it.
Well, that's where I think the others, looking at the other plans.
I mean,
will
we'll
give us some
certainly
ideas.
recognize the fact that X percentage of our land is federal land.
But I think we do that later.
Oh, yeah, I think we do it like 3 or 4 times in that
Right,
one.
so I'm saying right here,
Yeah.
where we talk
Do
about.
we really need it?
Yeah.
Well, it's part of the community character, though, that we are top-heavy in federal
And that's
land.
where we were looking at kind of consolidating the 3.5 pages of introduction and the 8 pages of character. Might, those, 8, 9, 10, 11, those 11 and a half, 12 pages may be consolidated down to 5 or 6.
So
when
there's-
it's done.
Yeah. So there's one part towards the end of that paragraph where it says there's significant federal land within Norman Township consisting of portions of the Manistee National Forest. There is little state or county-owned land within Norman Township.
Doesn't that kind of contradict itself?
Well,
I mean, if it,
no.
Well,
this
there's
is
a
a
difference.
national
There is a
forest.
difference between
There
state
is a
land and
difference,
federal.
yeah.
And the township owns
Okay.
a little bit of property
State
too.
owns.
Okay, gotcha,
So that's kind
gotcha.
of like.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Because the
gotcha.
federal forest
Yeah.
is controlled by the feds.
Do we
and
talk
the
about
state
that
is
here?
By the DNR.
We could,
We don't though.
if you're going to talk about, at least in a paragraph of land, you may talk about the land that the township owns and what it's being used for. We have this, we have the transfer station, we have cemeteries, blah, blah. But we also have a 40-acre nature preserve over there that a lot of people don't even know about.
Right.
You're talking the Audubon?
Yeah.
At the end of, I'm bad with roads, that's why I need a
Hi.
map.
Yeah.
I just get on and drive, I don't care what the names are, I just know where they're
Right.
taking me. Yeah.
So if anything, I would say rewrite that last
Yes.
sentence
Yeah.
in that paragraph.
And then we wanna include the township.
Are you making notes on yours, Jill, with
Oh, I
like a
sure
colored
do.
pen or pencil? Cause might make a copy of yours later, and that's what Ben and I will work from.
We're hoping to never use this one again.
We can
Right.
actually do this.
Um,
It's gonna be a lot of homework.
and then the
It's gonna be a lot of
geographic.
homework, right.
It's gonna be a lot of homework. That's what I have to sound.
But I think the nice thing is when we are reading a couple other plans, we're gonna read a paragraph and go, oh, that's the way we want it. Or we're gonna see a
Yes.
map and go,
Yes.
that's what we're gonna do. And then, yeah, enormous.
What about the geographic setting?
That one's nuts.
That one is just,
Way
wow.
out there.
Do we talk about the recession of the glacial ice packs and the formation of the lakes and the geology as you move farther north
Yeah,
than
it's good,
Michigan?
little science cards.
Because they like to do that.
All right, so Norman Township is located within the extreme southeastern corner of Manistee County. Good, enough.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
And then it's bordered by,
Yeah, you could actually add the other townships.
Mhm.
Yeah, bordered by
The bordered
Lake County
townships.
to Norman, or was that next county up or whatever?
Dixon.
yeah,
Each township around us.
Absolutely.
You could actually add that just to give you an idea of where it is, but
Mhm.
beyond that.
Sometimes we might add a graphic that has the southeast corner of, Manistee County and then shows Norman Township and the surrounding counties too.
Yeah,
Rather geographic?
yeah, see
Yeah.
that geographic, yeah, I like that.
Cause I think people would like the visual rather than the.
Like I say, we're trying to stay away from a total comic book, but we
Right.
want to be able to illustrate ideas to where, let me write 3 more
How many
paragraphs.
Okay,
sections of glaciers?
This
Yeah.
brief history,
You thought I was kidding, didn't
I
you,
did, I
Jill?
thought you were kidding.
Oh,
Nope.
no.
this brief history is not brief,
A brief history, goes on and on.
yes.
And I don't know how much, well, it's not required to be in the master plan, and I'm not really sure.
I see a paragraph on the geological formation that leads you right into something else more relevant and important.
Yeah, I think we can,
So,
Definitely sum
my
this
thing
down.
about history of places is something we always taught our kids when we went somewhere, they had to know why that town was there. Like Dublin is there because got its name because that's where the loggers would double
Yeah.
back.
And Ben and I picked up on, and a lot of that's in there, but it takes forever
Right,
to say it.
right, so, I mean, just a simple little, this is why Wellston or Norman Township exists. This is what happened. We
well,
only
and,
need 5 pages of it.
and the really, like, if you just skip to the, last one, last paragraph of it. Dublin was the first commercial center in Norman Township. Dublin still exists as a
Yes.
commercial, so that's a really good highlight, that here's where we started, and it's still here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanna stress instead
It
of
came and it
who
went and it
gave
came
what to
back.
what.
We
It's
can't
a-
talk
it's a
about the
rich
glaciers
history.
cutting
Yeah.
the land 10,000 years
No.
ago.
Pay attention in 6th grade
I
science
love
and
it.
you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's just speculation anyways. Who really knows? Who was around 10,000 years ago? Write that down.
So,
Not me.
so what is your suggestion for
We get rid of the
all of,
glaciers.
all this?
We've gotta spend some
History.
time doing some summary of what
Just
we
quick-
feel we
yeah.
wanna keep and what we
What's
don't.
important in that
And
and
I agree with you, the last paragraph. is-
Yeah,
Yeah, mention Dublin, mention Wellston, and
absolutely.
yeah, a little
Yeah.
brief summary of Wellston
Yeah.
and Dublin, where they came from, and
Yeah.
there you go. We don't need to talk about glaciers and all
Exactly.
this other stuff that.
And-
I would put a graphic of the new site plan for the rebuilding of the store after it burned down.
Yeah.
Do a
And
little overlay image.
Well, there's
Yeah.
pictures of the
That
original
is true.
Dublin store when it was a
That is
gas
true. We could do
station
that. We could
to
put-
what it is
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be a really neat thing to put in there, like in that one. They had that
That's
church and then, you know, what it was when it was built to what it is now.
Mhm. Right.
I mean, Dublin is a big part of our history,
Right, right.
you know.
Yeah, Dublin.
but yeah, I think we can definitely,
Shorten
I-
it down.
cutting it down right now, I'm not prepared to
Right.
do, but I
Right.
definitely, you know, because I think that it's important to keep in that there was a strong Native American history. Because I mean,
Yeah.
you can go to the museum in Grand
Absolutely.
Rapids and you can,
You actually can.
you know, the kids are
And-
touring and there's Wellston.
And
You
being,
don't
and being,
talk
na-
about
and being
exciting.
native, I'm all about the native history of where
Yeah.
we're at, so, yes.
Because this is where, you know, so, you know, keeping parts of it,
Mm-hmm,
Tippy
you
Dam.
know.
And Tippy Dam's pretty important too.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to a lot of people. Trying to be here from about
Yeah.
90 years, but hey.
Well, since we started this section, do you want to, do that at the workshop, finish?
I was gonna
this
say, is it
Pencil
workshop?
it out and go,
Go
let's
through
We're
it.
gonna do it at the
this.
workshop?
There's an
Yeah.
awful lot to clip out.
Yeah, we can
keep-
do it. all
yeah,
tomorrow.
and-
Let's do this, because then we can bring the comparisons of, we'll each read a couple other,
Yeah.
and bring a way to rewrite it.
yeah.
Okay, so,
Let's take it home and let's work ourselves through that.
Did you get through 2 or
Individual.
3 pages from that though?
pardon?
Did you get through 2 or 3 pages?
Yeah.
just then? Is that something I can get a copy of before you leave tonight? If I could leave with Ben or something and?
The only thing that I made notes on was the first page.
The first
Oh,
page,
oh.
Yeah.
or just the second
Just
page.
to give him an idea in his head and say, oh, okay.
You can
Yeah.
found that.
Worst case scenario, he could get started on a couple paragraphs, a couple images and say, is this the direction you wanna go?
Right,
We'll try to keep up with it.
okay.
Let's, can we do this, like, when we come back?
Can I go make that copy now?
Can we
I'll bring that right
have?
back to you.
Or did we do it?
I can read my writing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's just, can we just go through this ourselves and mark it and?
Mark
Then
what
when
we
we come
think,
back
what
from
we
the
think is
workshop,
important to
then-
stay in
Then we
it.
can talk about, each person can take time to talk about each part that
Right,
they
and
wrote
your thoughts
on.
on it and why we should keep it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then
Good of
maybe
it?
take notes of each other's ideas and
Mhm.
work from there. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
Cause that would work for me, and then I can just go through it myself and mark out what.
And I was gonna
And that gives me time to really go through it and read it and,
I mean, if you've read it,
but you still don't comprehend it.
No, because
It's too much
it's
to comprehend.
painful.
It's painful, yes. Thank you, that's a good word.
Yeah.
It's very.
I
painful.
actually took it to work with me and I tried to read it. And I worked midnights and it was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
I drive a truck, I would never do that. I'd be held up forever and I'm a good reader.
Well, I would say we have a lot of homework,
Yes,
We do.
and so,
but if we don't get all the way through it, we're not gonna beat each other up, right?
No.
No.
I mean,
I'm gonna do what I can, but. I
that's what a
got
workshop's
other duties
for.
too. I got lots of duties actually, so.
Well, and
We're doing a thing, we're doing a yard sale and we got the flea roast coming and my church is busy and I'm secretary
I'm busy
there
with the flea
too.
roast this weekend.
We have meetings and then I work 70 hours a week, so it's, I'll do what I
I
can.
won't beat you up.
Don't beat me up. I'll do what I can though, I will, cause I
Yeah.
am into this and I do wanna see it done. So that's important to me. Thank you. Cause I do like it, I do think we can make a difference.
I do.
If I didn't believe in it, I'd quit because it really pays nothing. and it's-
So
it's a
somehow
hassle.
in your
Just saying.
summary to Jason, I don't know how you're gonna relay this.
we worked on the master plan.
That's all he's.
Alright, well, the nice thing is, the
Jason
summary
needs
is
to-
being done.
Jason needs
On
to
the
know
whole
what he
page.
needs to do for
Yeah,
next,
we're-
for the workshop.
Oh, yeah, so I'll send him an email, and and let him know,
Okay.
cause I said that I would, and hopefully he can make that date too.
Do a workshop.
If he is coming down with something, I'm glad he didn't expose us
I'll
to his
officially
germs.
mark
I
Right.
am too.
I'll officially mark
I
that.
appreciate that,
He just doesn't sound like his own peppy self. you know.
Yeah, so- yeah.
He did?
He really wants to talk.
Oh.
Short and sweet, so, okay.
Okay, moving on, any public comment?
I just have one thing that's kind of, I guess, just to put it, just a question. We get this soil erosion permits,
Mhm.
and Norman Township, finally, why do we never have any?
We never get them forwarded us from, soil erosion sedimentation control officer. You know, they need them as part of the building permit process. They don't need them as part of zoning, but if you're gonna build, depending on if you're located within 500 feet of a body of water, lake or stream, or you're disturbing more than an acre, you would need it, but a typical like half-acre lot where you're building, and you're not within 500 feet, you wouldn't need a soil erosion and sedimentation control permit. But sometimes it's part of the building permit process from the state before they will give you your building permit.
Yeah, cause this report had just been confusing to me on the county one, because,
Is that like an overall county report or
this is,
township?
yeah,
Broken
if
down
we're,
by-
we're zero. And
Wow.
have been for the year, last year, and I'm like, so we have lakes and streams,
Yeah,
we
so
must be
nobody,
building on?
see, I find that really
Yeah, so
odd.
I'm like, are we not, people
So-
not pulling permits for
so
our
two-
area?
Two things could be happening. one, the applicants are not getting the soil erosion permit when they needed prior to being issued a building permit, or two, the state building department is not requiring them prior to issuing a building permit like they're supposed to be. And me working in 4 different counties, see it done 4 different ways. We're probably on the very low end, and Grand Traverse County don't like planting a tomato plant unless you get a soil erosion permit, at least check with them first. You know, it's really strict.
Yeah, cause I didn't know if we had different policies or something, I mean,
So it's up to the building permit.
but it's,
Yeah.
could you check and see?
I'm making a note of that
Okay,
now.
Thanks.
Who's the SEDC officer in, is that someone in the planning department typically?
Yeah, it'd be Glenn
Okay.
Zaring, Zaring, I think he's the one that's handling that.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah, cause last year we had 0 and I'm like, okay, how do all these other folks have all these and we don't, cause I'm going, we have water.
Right.
We have
We
the
definitely have water.
We have
You
the
know.
best water.
Yeah,
We do.
We do. Norman Township has the best water.
Mhm.
I love the water here, man.
Put that in the
And I-
master plan.
and
It's
it
Yeah.
good.
does.
We have the best water here.
Cause the nice thing is it tells us open permits, new permits, closed permits.
Get right to it.
So it's a nice little checklist and where the activity, Bear Lake has kind of been the active in Onekama. Cause, that's where people are tending to migrate right now. Bear Lake is one of the, most desired spots right now in northern Michigan.
I went fishing there and didn't catch anything.
Yeah,
I fished all day and no fishing, barely. I went Father's Day.
so it's not on your top 10.
It was on my top list. I caught more in Tippy Pond than I ever did in Bear Lake.
Does anybody have anything
We're
else?
checking on that.
Does anybody have anything else? No? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
A third.
Well, I think you guys got
Meeting
quite a bit
adjourned.
done in 1 hour.
Pardon?
I think you got quite a bit done in 1 hour.
I think so.